Best advice that I've ever gotten is in yourself. I didn't learn that until later in life. Get the education that you need in order to be successful.
Like Michael Jordan, at the height of his career, had like 6, 7 coaches. It's a shame that I didn't get that memo sooner, because I'd be much further along than I even am now.
Since we have a 300 plus unit under contract right now, I'm the only person in Dallas, so I'm the boots on the ground. And when they found out about construction and asset management, that's what kind of attracted me to them, and vice versa. Everybody has what you need out there, and you have what somebody else needs.
Career. What inspires you? What's the driver?
So for me, and for a lot of people, it's their family, but for me in particular, I have a couple of reasons: my wife and being there for my kids.
Welcome back to Multifamily Rockstars. So as you guys know, this is where we interview people that are just flat out crushing it in our business, and we show the inside scoop as to how multifamily investors are creating massive success, not just in their businesses, but also in their lives. And as always, I've got my co-host, who's the director of our massive action team for our Warrior Group on the call, Mark Nagy. Mark, there he is. What's up?
Hey, Rod. Just glad to be back at it after a very, very long 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, I saw you were in Vegas, and you looked a little snockered on 1 or 2 of those pictures, so you're probably still recovering.
No, that was just water because it was so hot, 110 degrees. Just got to stay hydrated, you know?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Well, listen, we've got a really nice guy on the show today. His name's Shawn Ricehouse, and Shawn, man, he's done a lot of stuff. He joined our Warrior program in July of 22 last year. He's been involved in 856 units as a limited partner since then, and just under 300 as a general partner. He's got 600 under contract. He's partnered with other Warriors, and so we're going to have a wide-ranging conversation today. He's got a big construction background, but you know what? I'm going to let him tell you. Shawn, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure. So, tell us, you've got this incredible, a lot of stuff that you've done. Maybe give us kind of like a highlight reel of your background in general, and then, why multifamily, and kind of bring us current, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you very much for y'all having me on the show. I'm very excited. So just a little bit about myself. I started in the construction industry probably when I was 15 or 16. Actually started in the HVAC side, building ductwork and installing air conditioners, but have been in construction for 25 plus years. Of those 25, I've owned a company for probably 22 or 23 of those years. I started here in Dallas. I was raised here in Dallas, Texas. Ended up getting some opportunities to go overseas and work on American embassies throughout the world. Africa, Tanzania, South Africa, Nigeria, Sao Paulo, Brazil was my last stint, where I met my current wife. So we ended up coming back to the States in 2003 or 2004. Started another company. And about that time is when I started getting into real estate, but I started on the single family side as most of us do. So I had some single family homes kind of coming up through, got back to Dallas, coming back to, I started helped start a energy as a service company. I started an office in Dallas with them about 5 or 6 years ago. And I learned about multifamily about 3 years ago. So when I figured out I could buy multifamily and partner and go through some masterminds and programs such as yours, we ended up partnering with some great people in this area and in Florida, and started investing in multifamily. So I ditched all my single families. I have 2 left. I got one on the market right now, but and I'll have one left after that. And now I'm full time. I ended up retiring in January of this year, and I'm full-time multifamily real estate investing. So,
oh, congratulations! I didn't know that, brother. That's fantastic. So I know that. So you said you met some great people in Texas and in Florida. I assume those were Warriors. Was that what you were alluding to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I know that you believe in education, man. And I saw that when I looked at your bio, because you've gone to Grant Cardone's events. You've gone, you checked out Lifestyles Unlimited, which has been around a long time. You've gone to Michael Blanc's masterminds. He's a good friend of mine. And why the Warrior Group, man?
So I tell you, like I tell everybody, and this isn't because I'm on your show, I promise you, but going through some of these masterminds, and I think, the first thing that's extremely important is I think you have to invest in yourself, number one, right? So once you invest in yourself and you get the knowledge that you need, there's programs out there to help you do that. And, I started in Grant Cardone's real estate summit and paid for his mastermind. Like you said, I went to some other summits, Michael Blanc, Lifestyles, been to Sunrock Summit, and your summit and I was kind of weighing those after I had gone through Grant Cardone's. And I'll tell you guys, like I tell everybody, Grant Cardone is like, it's for it's networking and it's to kind of expand your thinking. But if you truly want to know the nuts and bolts and get into not necessarily the weeds, but get into really what you need to know about multifamily, your program, Rod Cleef's program, is by far the best bang for the buck. We ended up going, like I said, to Some Rocks. I was weighing his at the same time I was weighing yours. And, to be able to come to yours, get that education and get a personal coach it's just unmatched, to be honest with you.
Oh, thanks for that, brother. Thanks.
Well, you mentioned nitty gritty, and I was going to ask you, because you mentioned you live in Texas, Florida. Those are two of the biggest states right now that are getting hit really, really hard with the insurance crisis. That's affecting real estate big time. And some people are just saying, screw it. And they're going and buying deals in other states. Some people like myself, they're just changing underwriting. How are you seeing insurance affecting those markets that you're working in right now for investing?
It's a big effect on, just like you said, on the underwriting. So, we invest in, we've looked at a lot of deals in Houston, which is kind of in that zone one with Florida. Fortunately, I'm in a little bit better location as far as insurance premiums go, but it's a massive effect. I think, 12 to 15 months ago, just to give an example, we were at, I think, $550, $600 a door. And depending on like Houston, some of those quotes are coming back at $3,000 a door.
Yeah, we got a $3,000 quote. We got a $3,000 quote on one in Louisiana.
Wow.
It was like, and it was a screaming freaking deal. I'm like, oh my God, it killed me.
Yeah, and it just blows the whole deal out of the water. So, and here's the other thing on top of that is that some of these guys are not giving us like soft quotes, until 2 or 3 weeks before close. How do you underwrite that? How do you figure that? So unless you have the experience and you've been in the market, such as yourself, you kind of can start estimate that. You see where those premiums are going, but it has a massive impact on everything.
So let me ask you a question. Tell us the 3 best things about you.
I think I have a good personality. I'm willing to work with others. I love to learn. And I think that's very important. Like
that's obvious. Yeah, that's obvious from your bio. Good Lord. Yeah.
Well, I think it's important that you invest in yourself. I think obviously my construction background brings a lot to the table in this multifamily world, and especially in value adds. And closing 6 or 7 deals just in the past couple of years, I think is a great deal to bring to the table, especially with GPs or LPs that are looking to start their journey. So
yeah. And I was going to ask you whether and how you were utilizing that construction experience, in your deals with Warriors, these deals that you've done recently. And so you've been involved heavily in the asset management and the CapEx projects, I assume?
So that's kind of what we look for. I don't know if you're having the same issue. We kind of looked at some Class A's. We have a small Class A in downtown Dallas. It was our first acquisition that we did. It's a little 18 door, and turns out that those you're buying another job, but you have to live and learn, right? But so now we're looking for the Class C's underwrite really well, and if it's a heavy value add, man, it's right up my wheelhouse with construction and project management and things of that nature. So yeah, I love those kind of assets.
Well, let me just say this to you, okay? Because I've been saying this publicly on two things. One, I want to hammer home what you just said about an 18 unit, how it's a job. It's the same amount of work to buy an 18 unit as it is to buy a 60, 70, 80, 100 unit, okay? And with a 60, 70, 80, 100 unit, you can have an on-site infrastructure, okay? Typically 70 is the minimum, but with rents as high as they are now, it's probably less than that. But the point is, then you don't have to be there every freaking day doing everything because you got people on site. So that's what he meant by that. And then secondarily, I would just want to caution you on the C-class assets, only because that's the demographic that's getting their ass handed to them right now with this inflation and gas and everything else. And so, I mean, I know you know what you're doing. There's no question. And you can create the value through your incredible construction experience. But, I lost $50 million, so I'm much more conservative than most. So I'm thinking way ahead, probably overthinking in some cases. But, I'm a little worried about C, particularly C minus, like C minus, definitely D. I mean, those people are getting killed. They go paycheck to paycheck. I saw an article that a lot of them are using credit card debt just to pay their living expenses. What could be wrong with that, right? And so, just a caution there, Shawn. That's all I would say on the C-class, because I've been spouting that publicly a little bit now, just to be careful there.
You mentioned your construction experience. For the contractors and construction people that are listening that are saying, okay, how can I leverage my experience? What do you think you would recommend to them as kind of the best way to get started, or maybe value add into their first multifamily deal?
You're talking about other people in the trades. Is that what you're saying? Okay, sorry. I did want to make sure I got that.
Yeah, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, I think that, being in the construction world helps you transition a little bit or bring those talents to the table to a GP team that may be looking for somebody that can asset management and asset management and project management. They're hand in hand. They're almost identical. If you've been in any type of project management, leading a team or leading an effort, it works really well. So I think if you're trying to come into it, find a team that's looking for. I'll give you an instance. We have a 300 plus unit under contract right now. I'm the only person in Dallas, so I'm the boots on the ground. And when they found out about the construction and the asset management, that's what kind of attracted me to them, and vice versa. Everybody has what you need out there, and everybody, you have what somebody else needs, is the way I like to say it. So is
that a value add deal? That 300 unit, is that a value add deal? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And how much per unit do you think? And hold on one sec, Mark, because I want to expand on something you just said.
Yeah, that varies even in Dallas. So in this particular location, we have two different value adds going on. We have a basic upgrade and a premium upgrade. Our basic upgrade, we estimated about $3,800 a door. And our premium upgrade, we estimated about $8,000 a door. But here's what I'll tell y'all, Rod. The 8,000 doors, in my opinion, won't absorb that. In other words, so I don't think we're going to end up spending 8,000 to achieve our pro forma rent. So if we only need $100 to get to our pro forma, I think we're over budgeted on that, which is a good thing, to be honest with you. But I don't think dumping $8,000 into a C plus asset is going to work.
Well, it may not. And I will tell you, one of the rough rules of thumbs that I like to use whenever I'm doing CapEx, which is what we're talking about here, guys, capital expenditures, is I like to ideally see a 3-year payback. So if I'm going to spend $3,600 on a fix, I'm going to want to see, $200. Was that right? 2 times, am I doing that right? My math in my head. I'm going to want to see it paid back in 36 months. So that's $100. Sorry. Yeah. So $3,600 would be $100 increase in rent. So, that's the ideal. Now, of course, you're not going to always get that. You sometimes are going to, but I definitely wouldn't go over 5 years because, then you're overpaying for the CapEx. There's just no question. It's interesting. You were talking about asset management and project management, and on our Warrior call yesterday, we have our group calls, and on the advanced portion of the call, we do a fundamental portion and the advanced portion. I was talking about, I showed an outline of a weekly call that we have with one of our assets, and we do it with both assets and both of our newer assets now. And it just lists out all the different KPIs, the key performance indicators, the metrics that we want to measure on a weekly basis. And like you said, if you've got some project management experience and you're perfect for that. If you've got construction experience over on top of that, that's like a massive home run. Any trades, by the way, it doesn't matter what trade you were in. That's just incredible value add to a team. And as you guys know, this is a team sport. You need that component, that asset management component, which is perfect for you. You need an underwriter, which is that analyst that you can lock in a room with a spreadsheet and throw raw meat in once in a while, and he's happy, that person or she. And then you need a mouthpiece like Rod out there talking to brokers and sellers and investors and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's fantastic. So you've really found your slot in these warrior teams that you've either put together or joined. So, really impressed with that, brother.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. How I get this question a lot. How do these teams come together? You mentioned you're the guy that's in Dallas. Did you find the deal, then bring it to others for skill sets? Did they find the deal, then come to you? Did you already have the pre-existing relationship with the team? How did that team come together?
So it's a little bit of both, but the one in particular that we're talking about, they actually had the deal. Oddly enough, they had a sister deal over in Fort Worth, our neighbor next door. And we were talking about that one when I found out about this one. So it just happened to be that this was a little bit bigger project. I didn't think that we had the team put together. Well, that came full circle and it came back and we kind of all started talking. But to answer your question, it's network. It's network. It's funny. I mean, we talk about all these other masterminds and stuff. But when the Warriors go to another mastermind and they find out that they're Warriors or they know each other, it deepens that connection. And sometimes people already have a deal and you just kind of start networking and find out what people need. And if you're in the hood and you got somebody with boots on the ground, it's usually a pretty good fit. So network.
Yeah, love it. So tell me what the best piece of advice you feel like you've ever gotten. And this could be life advice, could be real estate advice. You choose the topic, but what's some of the best advice you've ever gotten, brother?
Man, that is I don't know if I can answer that in 5 minutes.
Oh, just all right. Well, or maybe some of the worst advice then. I mean, we could go both sides of that equation. Think back to things you may have heard. And if I stumped you, I can come up with something else. No big deal.
I don't know. I think that some of the best advice, that I've ever gotten is we mentioned it several times is educate yourself, invest in yourself. I think that is by far, and I didn't learn that until later in life maybe that advice was given to me, 2-3 years ago. And today I think sometimes that changes throughout your journey and throughout your life. Right. But I would say invest in yourself, man. Get the education that you need in order to be successful.
No, there's no question. And I found the value of coaches, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 years ago. And before then I didn't. So I made every freaking mistake in the book. In fact, at my boot camps, I hand out those shirts that say #ask me how I know, because I made every freaking mistake in the world and say, don't do that. Ask me how I know. And it's interesting. I talk about this is, like Michael Jordan at the height of his career, had like 6-7 coaches. I mean, a nutrition coach, lifestyle, relationship coach, assistant coach. I could go on, nutritional coach, and on and on and on. He's the best in the world. And it's a shame that I didn't get that memo sooner, because I'd be much further along than I even am now had I known that. And so I appreciate you talking about that, because I will tell you, learners are earners, and I went to Grant Cardone's Growth Con, just to network and stuff. I spent $20,000
to took a picture there.
Oh, did we? Forgive me, buddy. I felt like it was one of my events. I probably did 200 selfies with people, and so did. I lose track. Forgive me, but I'm still, it's not like a do as I say, not as I do kind of a thing. And I went to Tony Robbins' Business Mastery a few months ago. This is and we've been taught that we learn in college. The problem is most college professors have never done business. They've never started a business, right? And so, I believe in, like you obviously do now, Shaun, is thought leaders and masterminds and boot camps. And, I show this picture at my boot camp with me with hundreds of lanyards around my neck and my arms from these boot camps that I've gone to, because, that's really how I educated myself. I never went to college.
I agree. I mean, I think it's one of the best things you can do is educate yourself. So
Yeah. Yeah. If you're considering getting some guidance, so that you can experience the life you want this year instead of, 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now, or maybe you thought you might be more effective in your networking and in joining an ecosystem, text the word crush to 72345. And it's just to see if the Warrior program might be able to help you overcome any challenges that you have or that challenge. And so that you can accomplish what you want with lifetime cash flow, because that's why we called our podcast Lifetime Cash Flow. And that's what our warriors are creating, warriors like Shawn here. And I'm going to tell you, I feel like we fail any warrior that doesn't join our program. And I mean that sincerely. I told Shawn that before we started recording, because it's just so extraordinary. I mean, the success. On our coaching call last night, I talked about the deals that have closed that people announced in the Facebook group. And I was going on and on and on. There were so many freaking deals that closed just in the last 60 days. It was insane. And so, so anyway, if you're interested, text the word crush to 72345, and we will do everything we can to help you absolutely crush it in this business.
I've seen a lot of those as well. I've seen some awesome loan assumption deals. I saw a guy, one of the students get a deal, 200 and something units at 3.5% interest because they assumed another loan. I've seen creative financing, so many different ways to get deals. And I wanted to bring this up just because, Shawn, I know you, on your bio, you started in 2010, right after the 2008 crash. And a lot of people don't even realize, just statistically, the real estate market didn't hit the bottom until 4 years, the quote unquote bottom until 2012, 4 years later. And things are moving very slowly right now for us. It feels slowly. What are some of the similarities and maybe some of the differences that you're seeing and with what's going on today compared to back in 2010 when you first got started?
Today seems a lot more volatile. It seems to have taken that those peaks and valleys are a lot shorter. In other words, it wasn't a 4-year or a 5-year cycle. It's like it went from January or February, March of last year to the height to today. We were at sub 3% interest 12 months ago, and now we're at to get a bridge loan is like 9%. Even the agency loans are 5.5%, 6.5%. So it just seems like it's a little bit more volatile. I don't have the 20, 25-year track record, but the single, and I was in single family at that time, but it just seems like it's just a little more volatile today.
Yeah. And I don't think the crash is, and we're heading into a crash. I'm just going to tell you, anybody tells you otherwise, unless the government prints another 2 or 3 trillion and throws it in, which they may do, and then God help us with inflation. But, I don't think it's really hit yet. I think it's coming. We're starting to see deals, a lot more deals coming online, but I don't think the sellers have really been knocked on the side of the head with a 2x4 yet. And, but I do believe it's coming. And I know there's a lot of capital on the sidelines that's going to go after these larger deals for sure. And so, I've created an opportunity fund myself. I'm going to start raising money to take advantage of distressed assets. And, but let me shift gears for a second. So, you're obviously very motivated. You've done lots of different things in your career. What inspires you, brother? What's the driver?
So my why is my family. My wife has a disease. It's called retinitis pigmentosus. So she has about 15% vision left. So she's my driver. There's no current research going on. It's very minimal because it's a very scarcity disease, I guess. It's very rare. So we want to help with that. I obviously want to leave a legacy for my kids. I want them to have, something for their kids. So, and I want to spend more time with my family. One of the biggest reasons I jumped ship and I retired was when I moved back to Dallas and I started this division for this energy company. They had me on the road like 3-4 weeks out of the year, or 3-4 weeks out of the month. I was getting home. Wow. It started off getting home, I was Monday through Friday, right? And getting home on the weekends. Then it went to, I was getting home once every 2 weeks to once a month. I'm like, this is it. I'm missing my son's soccer games. I'm missing my kids' activities. And so for me, it's, and for a lot of people, it's their family. But for me in particular, I have a couple of reasons, my wife and being there for my kids.
Wow. Wow. I didn't know that. That's, man, I'm sorry to hear that about your wife. One more question. Is there a quote that you like, that you live by? Is there a quote that, like for me, I've got a Tony Robbins quote I love: live with passion, just, encompass passion in your life. Is there a quote that resonates with you?
Again, it's almost like, what's your driving factor, or what's the best things? They kind of change, as your journey changes for me. I think the quote right now is, massive action, and you say
massive freaking action, massive freaking,
right now in the state of my journey, it's about taking action. And that's, for me, that's my driving factor. I get up every day for my family. I want to get out there. It's, Grant Cardone, one of his success is my duty. That's one of the quotes that I like as well. So there's a couple, and they always change as you go through your journey in life, but those are probably the top ones right now.
Yeah, I actually have that one on the wall in my exercise room as well. I've stolen 2 or 3 of them from him. Comfort Kills is another one of his that I love.
Yes.
What suggestions would you have for someone that is sitting on the sidelines? They see these economic headwinds. They're thinking, okay, maybe Rod knows what he's talking about, and there's going to be some opportunity, but they haven't made a move yet. They know they want more for themselves and their family. They'd love what you have, the ability to have retired from a regular quote unquote W-2 to really create your own time freedom. What would you tell someone like that?
It goes back to, I'm a very simple person. I would say, educate yourself, like we've been talking about. Find a good team that has some experience going through this. Just like you said, there's going to be some really, really good deals coming out in the next. There's going to be some opportunities out there for all of us. So don't be scared. Get out, start networking, get with a team. There's a ton of meetups, in every city, no matter what city you're in. So get out there and just start networking and get the education and get with a team that's been through this and take action. Massive action.
Massive freaking action. Yeah, I love it. You guys, if you haven't heard me talk about it, if I didn't bring it up on the intro of this episode, get your butt to my freaking boot camp. So we're going to be like 1,000 people in Orlando in September, 15th through the 17th. Awesome, buddy. You'll get to meet Shawn. It's not a big sales pitch. I talk about my coaching for about a half hour, and the rest of it's full on training, drinking through a fire hose. So I hope you can make it. And the price is ridiculously reasonable. So anyway, well, listen, brother, I appreciate you coming on. This has been a lot of fun, and really enjoyed spending a little time with you like this.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be on your program. Thank you very, very much, Rod.
So one other quick thing. We encounter so many people that are frankly frustrated. They're looking in the mirror and they're frustrated that they haven't been able to escape the rat race. They haven't been able to build cash flow to the point where they're able to have financial and time freedom with their families. And maybe they see other people buying real estate and creating, incredible cash flow, and they think, well, it's just scary. Buying apartments is intimidating. And I get it. But see, that's why we created our Warrior Mentorship Program. They're our coaching students, and they've had extraordinary results. My students, I've been teaching about 5 years, and they own upwards of 140,000 units now that we know of, right? And we feel like it's just getting going. Now we're looking to grow this group and really take it to the next level. And honestly believe that the greatest transfer of wealth could be upon us right now with this current economic environment. Everything's going on sale. So we're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework, really like a blueprint or a map, literally step by step. And then they're able to leverage our systems and our incredible network to raise money and equity, to find deals and close those deals and build partnerships, really nationwide. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more in our incredible network and take advantage of the unbelievable opportunities that are upon us, you can apply to my Warrior Mentorship Program by texting the word CRUSH to 72345, or you can go to mentorwithrod.com. And what we'll do is we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out and see if it's a fit. Now, again, you can go to mentorwithrod.com or text the word CRUSH to 72345 to apply, and we will speak soon.